So, it's on my good side. Excellent. I'm Laurence Malthouse. I'm the Solution Sales Director at Gamma. I look after enterprise and public sector. I came through Pareto myself, so that's probably over 20 years ago, as have many of actually the colleagues that I work with as well. So it's a well-trodden route. It's great to see that it's had longevity and it continues to do well today. You get a sort of indication of what the service is going to be like as soon as you walk through the doors here. That sort of buzz, the sales team, the confidence, it's what a great sales floor should probably look and sound like. I think that type of enthusiasm then carries over into the actual process itself, and that's really good to see, because then it's not just a sales front. And then throughout the process, that willingness to pick up the phone, talk, discuss particular candidates that you're not sure about, give advice over and above the advice they actually give on the day through the scoring metrics that they use. So their own personal opinion comes into it, which is always something that I'll take on board, because clearly they've seen many assessment centres, whereas maybe we're just seeing one or two. So they have a very good idea of, I guess, the type of candidate that will do well and will be successful. And then moving forwards, it's what you get outside of the actual assessment process as well. So the ongoing support, whether it be the training, the additional training that they deliver across the team, or maybe individual sort of manager help that they're happy to give, and also opening up their network to other SDR leaders. I think that connection is really important. I think at times it's more about actually the way that Tom and his team help our sales leaders to coach those teams, which is equally as important as the training that they give to the individual members of the team as well. The culture within Gamma is critical, and we spend a lot of time thinking about that, and we have clear sales principles and Gamma values. Gamma is a bit of a family, so it's really important therefore that we have the right people coming into the organisation. I think we've changed the process from hiring external salespeople to actually creating an environment where we are growing talent from the bottom up. Now that suits us because they come in enthusiastic, and it's a lot easier then to mould that sales team into some of the basics that we're looking for in a high performance sales team. We find it works really well because they pick up good habits early days, and just generally it's good for the other members of the sales team to see that enthusiasm coming in at the bottom level as well. We're not always looking for the alpha male. I think if you wind back the years, the assessment centres favoured those who spoke loudly, relatively aggressive, held the room. In the world of modern sales today, that's important. Confidence is important. But when I think you go into that world of cold outreach, that appreciation that things are going to get tough is important as well. So it's just about understanding the graduate and seeing both sides, as opposed just to someone who fronts the room and holds the conversation. But there was one candidate, and they were doing the introductions and went around the room, and I think from Gamma there were 7 or 8 of us. He stood up, he knew who I was, he knew the university I went to, he knew the school I'd gone to, he knew what I studied at university, he knew everything. So even at that stage, he had done his research on me to create that rapport off the bat. And I didn't even need to listen to whatever he said in the day, because I knew that's the sort of person that we want. The quality of graduates that we've had on board, and I guess that comes from the selection process, is really important, because it has a lot to do with whether they're going to gel as a team or not. The team here really gel. They really get on really well together. And, as I said, that sort of cultural fit and the sense of belonging ultimately drives the longevity and their desire to stay within an organisation. The key benefits are the ability to create high volume, high quality leads for our sales team. It is a numbers game to some degree, and we do have metrics around activity. Of course, you have to have that in a sales team, but also the quality of the appointments is really, really important. That's why I think a lot of the grads have really got that ability to take time to research a company, what's important to people, have a conversation on subjects which are not just relevant to the organisation, but the person that they are talking to. And that creates great quality meetings. And the success of a sales team, or the success of sales team and a 10-year quota, a lot of it's to do with that great discovery at the start, asking the right questions and making sure that opportunity is well qualified. And that starts with the graduates making those appointments in the first place. So we've certainly seen an uptick in that, which clearly then helps in terms of conversion to pipe and what we have as qualified on our pipeline as well. And I think the other measurable is going through the gears, going from BDE to BDR. We've had several examples of intake that have done their 9-12 months doing outreach and have within 12 months of a sales role, or even less, 6 months of a sales role, have been working on some of our largest opportunities and closing them with the help of the team, which shows that they are the right people, they have learnt well, they've been trained well, and that's just I think a key metric, isn't it? How many calls, how many appointments have been made, have that increased, and do you have that ability then to go through the gears and eventually go into a quota carrying role?
Like, what are sort of 3 standout words you use to describe?
Yeah, I think the 3 words would be aggressive, in a good way. Aggressive in the way that even after 3 or 4 months, they're all asking questions about what's next, which is good. But you have to tame that because they have to have those basics in place. It's putting a lid on that enthusiasm without blowing out the candle. So I think there's that. I think reliable. The intake that we've had this year, all in the office at the right time, but without fail, they are there and they get stuck in. I think the 3rd would be fun. Yeah, they're a good bunch of people. They like having fun. They create a good atmosphere. They bounce off each other. They want to learn. They interact with everyone well. I think that's really important. I mean, I'm in a fortunate place now where, because we've worked together now for many years, I know the process and I know the process works. When working with Pareto, you start to understand pretty quickly that it's not just about the placement of grads in a particular year. The way that they have worked with me and other members of the team demonstrates, as far as I'm concerned, that long-term relationship is more important to them than any sort of short-term gain. And that ultimately, sales is a tough old world. We all need to be well connected. We all need to know the right people. And if you've got a company like Pareto who is invested in your success and your team's performance, then that's very comforting to have those type of relationships and partnerships. And I think the Gamma and Pareto relationship will go from strength to strength, and it's something that I really appreciate.
Should we cut there?
Yeah, good.